Welcome to the Put on Waivers Media Group, home of the Put on Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
And welcome, everybody, to the glorious episode of the Student Body Right USC podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, and as always, I am podcasting off the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. PORSBR is my Twitter handle. And then you can always reach me at, on Instagram. That is put on waivers _podcast. That's put on waivers __ podcast. So a lot to talk about here on the Student Body Right USC podcast. UCLA, the rivals, one of the rivals for USC, has a new head coach. His name is Deshaun Foster, and I know I'm going to take a little bit of a different pact than everybody else. Like everybody else, kind of talked about this and made fun of him and not calling him not a serious program and all those things like that. I'm going to take a whole different approach to it as far as that goes, because you never know. I think the biggest thing is that you never know where a really good coach is going to come from, right? He wasn't on the radar for teams. It doesn't mean that he's going to not going to be successful. It doesn't mean he's going to fail. It doesn't mean all those things like that. It doesn't mean like he's going to be successful because he's a former player. And if you saw the UCLA video, they absolutely love the fact that he's going to be the new head coach of the UCLA Bruins. But as I spoke about the week before, I said it, like, this is a guy who, like, UCLA is a program where they needed a guy like this to kind of cover the program right now. He knows California. He knows recruiting in California. He is a former player. The players on that team love him. So now I don't think you're going to see that mass exodus of players leave UCLA to go enter the portal, because they have that 30-day window to do so when a new coach comes in. I don't think that's going to happen now. I think they stay. I think it's a good move for them. I don't think this is people are just trying to talk about all these different things just saying, like, not a serious program, all this, a joke. Like, I don't know how he's going to do. I think this puts pressure on USC, because for Lincoln Riley and everybody, because if you can't beat Deshaun Foster, then he's never going to hear the end of it when you have a guy who is a former running back coach for like 6 years and you're Lincoln Riley and you can't beat him. And it's hard for me to make fun of UCLA, because the last time UCLA played USC, they wiped the floor with you. They wiped the floor with the Trojans. So I know a lot of people are just making fun of UCLA for this hire. Like I said, you never know where a great coach comes from. One of the biggest thing is the inspirational part of it. He just needs to get people in place where they can be a functioning offensive team. Defense, obviously, there's rumors that D'Anton Lynn, they offered it to D'Anton Lynn, and D'Anton Lynn said no. So that's a good thing. I think one more thing we got to look at, one more hurdle for D'Anton Lynn would be the San Francisco 49ers, who look like there's issues there. If the owner is willing to eat Steve Wilkes' contract, they might go after somebody like D'Anton Lynn, who his father, Anthony Lynn, happens to be on that staff in San Francisco. So I would just keep an eye on that one, and I would keep an eye on that one. But I think he's pretty committed to USC, so I'm not too worried about it. But you never know. The schedule, the life. Some of these guys just really don't want to be in college football. They want to be in pro football because they have that natural schedule year round where, this team, this situation, USC college football, you have to be all year round, no days off, all those things like that. But good young man, and Deshaun Foster. We'll see how they battle through this whole situation. We'll see what kind of staff he can put together. He should have a decent staff in college, a decent one. I'm not sure, but I'm not gonna poo-poo it and just say they're gonna be terrible. It's gonna be hard because Chip Kelly was. It's hard to hire these NFL guys because they literally have one foot out the door. Like you saw it with Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly was the coach of UCLA, but he had one foot out the door. to go coach somebody else. Like he literally had one more foot out the door to coach somebody else. And you saw when he got an opportunity to go somewhere else. It wasn't the pros, but now we can just be an offensive coordinator and not have to worry about any of the other things that you have to worry about when you are a head coach of a football team in Division One Power Five situation there. But so UCLA has a new coach. Our rival has a new coach, and his name is Deshaun Foster. Like I said, I think it's a move that they had to make. There wasn't a lot of people coming for this program. I think now donors and everybody else is they're coming for it. I mean, all the donors and people who like really want to back UCLA football, they're going to be back now because Chip Kelly was one of the reasons why they did not back their alma mater recently. So some of these way too early top 25s, like there's no reason to get if you're a USC fan to get in a tizzy about a top 25 on February 13th, 2024. Like it doesn't matter because they have that first game of the year in Vegas against LSU. If they win that game, they're going to be highly ranked. They can win it by 1 point. They can win it by 20 points. They can win it by 30 points. It doesn't matter. Like they need to win that game to get. You want national relevance, and you're worried about the top 25. Like that's not what USC should be worried about. USC should be worried about they have all this time to get a team ready to be able to go on the field in Las Vegas, where they lost to Utah last time they were there, but they have a lot of time to prepare for that game. They have a lot of time to kind of structure that roster to get them some opportunity to win that game. LSU had defensive problems last year. What they were able to do with that defense, those defensive issues, they were able to go out and get a new defensive coordinator from Missouri. And I think Missouri is a team in the SEC that like they are building a really good program. Like that's one of the programs I would really keep an eye on throughout the nation for college football fans is Missouri. I love what Missouri is doing. They are just a really good team under the radar, but they are becoming a really good team. And they got him to be their defensive coordinator. So they're kind of in the same situation as UCLA, have a new defensive coordinator, new defensive philosophy in which they are trying to just erase what they had last year, right? They're trying to erase what they had last year. So we'll have to see what happens as far as that goes. I know like this is one of the way too early. I forgot what publication this is from. On3 had USC not in the top 25. This other one has USC 19th. And then they were right behind Utah at 17, Florida State at 18, and then right in front of Louisville at 20. They also had Washington in the top in the top 25 as well too, with the highest ranking Big Ten team being Ohio State, and then Oregon at 4. So as far and Missouri is at 8. Like that Missouri team is going to be a pain in the what for teams in that conference. I'm telling you, they're a really good team watching them on film. But it's way too early for all that. It's just way too early to get upset. It's way too early to get mad. It's way too early to start crying and like boohooing about like where they're ranked. Go out there. LSU has been ranked anywhere from 8 in these way too earlys to 13th in the country. You go beat neutral field SEC team, ranked in the top 15, and all that will take care of itself. They have to split the LSU and Michigan games early in the season. They cannot go 0-2 in those games. If they want to be taken seriously, they cannot go 0-2 in those games. It's just really that simple. If they're able to do that, then they're good to go. If they're not, 2-0 would be wonderful, but I'm trying to be realistic. If they go 1-1 in those two games, they got a real shot. They got a real shot to make the college football playoff. If not, then it's gonna be it could be a long, weird season. Out there in Los Angeles. Merrill Hoge. So Merrill Hoge went on Radio Row, talked about how Chicago Bears should stay with Justin Fields. Talked about how Caleb Williams isn't special. Like, if you don't like the prospect, you don't like the prospect, right? If you don't, not every prospect at quarterback you're gonna like, right? But just because he was right on Johnny Manziel just doesn't necessarily make him right on Caleb Williams. Like, we won't know about Caleb Williams until, down the road. Caleb Williams is still a very young player. Like, I think we talk about Caleb Williams like he's like been playing football for 4 years in Division One. He's been playing for two footballs. He played 2 seasons, two spectacular seasons. Almost scored 100 touchdowns in 2 games in 2 years at USC, and deserved better defensively. No question about it. We all talk about that all the time as USC fans. That this guy deserved better. He just absolutely deserved better defensively. And I think part of the one of the biggest criticisms people have about him is turning down the easy throws for the big throws down the field. Like, I don't think people understand like we gotta really think about it for a second. Like, this defense was that bad. Like, the philosophy, the tackling, what Alex Grinch did defensively, trying to coordinate this stuff. How many times did you see as the ball is snapped, seeing everybody point at each other? Everybody's pointing at each other where to be because nobody knows where the hell to be. He liked smallish defensive linemen, and like people are gonna say, "Oh, you're blaming everything on Alex Grinch." Yes, I'm blaming everything on Alex Grinch because all Alex Grinch had to be was just decent. All Alex Grinch had to be was okay. So of course he's gonna go for home run plays because they don't have the ability to just to get stops. He's young. He's 21, 22 years old. Like, I'm not going to go. Hey, I think he and McCarthy are the youngest quarterbacks coming out in the draft. I think Caleb Williams has huge upside. I can't guarantee you that he's going to be a great pro, but I take umbrage with um, what Merrill Hoge said about, hey, I watched 6 games from him, and I can tell you he's not special. But I watched 39 games with Justin Fields, and he just needs stability. He needs to have a same offensive coordinator, all the stuff like that. Like, they've been changing offensive philosophies all the time, so that's why his development is slow. You know, as part of this channel, we do a lot of Raider stuff too as well, and that was the excuse from a lot of Raider fans about Derek Carr. Oh, he needs this, he needs that, he needs this, he needs that. Oh yeah, like, offensive coordinator, the staff is changing every 5 seconds. The philosophy offensively is changing every 5 seconds. You either can play or not. I think for 7 straight years, from college to his pro career with the San Diego Chargers and now Los Angeles Chargers, Justin Herbert has played very good football. And he's not perfect. He's not perfect, but I mean, but everybody knows he's a stud and he can play, right? And nobody talks about how he has had a different offense. He had a different offensive coordinator for like 6 straight years at Oregon, and then in college, and then in the National Football League. But he can still play, right? So why does that affect him? Didn't affect him, but it didn't. But it affects Justin Fields. Like, the narratives are not good, dude. The narratives are not good. And if you're going to make definitive points about quarterbacks, you got to watch the film, and you got to watch a lot of film. And I watch a lot of film. So Lopez watches a lot of film. Ryan Holmes watches a lot of film. Like, we watch a lot of film on this channel. So anybody I bring on, Coach B, like, we're not sitting here fly by night making just like rash, like, ridiculous comments. Like, if you're gonna make a comment about a quarterback and you didn't watch, I mean, like, nothing he does is special. That arm talent isn't special. His ability to be, when a play breaks down, to be elusive, and make plays, that's not special. And I'm not here ragging on Justin Fields, but like when you make a comment like, we're all dumb, we're all stupid. Basically, he's telling us that we're stupid, and Caleb Williams is basically, I'm not saying a bum, but like not well, he's an average prospect. How could he be an average he's an average prospect. He's basically telling you that he's not even a first. Forget about first pick in the draft. He's telling you Caleb Williams is not even a first round pick. But remember Brian Brom. Remember this is the same guy who said Brian Brom is a better prospect than Aaron Rodgers. Like we have to really it's the draft can be a crapshoot. It can be very difficult to anticipate some of these to talk about some of these picks. But at the end of the day, man, like all these dudes have special abilities, and Caleb Williams has a lot of special ability. We're not stupid. Like he played against good competition. The guy can actually sling the football. He can be elusive. Does he have things to work on? Absolutely. Does Bo Nix have something to work on? Yeah, of course. Does J.J. McCarthy have something to work on? Does Michael Penix? Does Drake May? Of course. I mean, obviously, you look at Mahomes. Mahomes sat for basically a whole year to learn. You don't have that ability now to do that, but still. You got to learn on the fly now in the National Football League. But at the end of the day, like if somebody tried to tell you that Caleb Williams is not a special prospect, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. Like the kids say, you're doing too much. All right. Student Body Right, USC podcast. We're going to go. It's getting warmer outside. We're going to do some more outside shows because by the beach, I can't. The studio's nice, but we got to show a little bit. We got to show. If I'm in California, I'm going to show a little bit of California. We're going to have some guests on coming up in the next couple of weeks. So look out for that. And don't forget our monthly show coming up soon with our brother from another channel, the USCJ, who's just fantastic, and I know people who love that show. So we're gonna do a show with USCJ, and we're not gonna have it be 21 minutes. Everybody wants a longer show, so it was too short. So we'll do what we can to make sure it's a little bit longer for you guys as far as that goes. So Student Body Right, USC podcast. Thank you for watching and all that stuff like that. And then of course, as always, folks, fight on.
Two plays for lost yardage, one for no gain. Rattler got plastered, still got it off, and it is caught across targets. Mail for a pregame visit for us. Goodies. Rattler throws wide open. The throw back to Leggett. He's across midfield and powering down near the 40-yard. Saying of your second-time transfer, you have to sit out. But for some reason, he wasn't grandfathered in. Here's Spencer Rattler with plenty of time. He's throwing deep. End zone! Got him! Luke Doty!
Last year for Georgia in their secondary. Rattler, plenty of time, and what a throw to Leggett. Rattler pumps one way, goes back the other way. And inside the 10, inside the 5, and in the end zone is Juice Wells for the touchdown. 7. Play action. Rattler tripped a little bit in the backfield, and now he's going to air it out. Deep ball, got it all the way down to the 26 to Leggett.